Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Trek Canon. So today we're going to be talking about episode 3 of Lower Decks, Star Trek Temporal Edict. Now today I'm going to actually be using notes because I was very impressed about today's episode. But before I get into what I liked about the episode and what I didn't like about the episode, let's just talk about some of the things that happened in the episode. Alright, so again, I'm going to try not to get into spoilers, but again, we all know my channel. I'm going to keep a really good attempt at not spoiling it, okay? But just bear with me if you have an issue with spoilers and think that I may, historically just leak some stuff. Just go ahead and stop the video, watch the episode, come back, and we can share our thoughts. So first, let's talk about Temporal Edict. It is the third episode, like I said, of Star Trek Lower Decks. Please excuse me if I look down. Again, my production isn't always as smooth as it can be. You could call, like I said, B budget for those old timers. You could call this B budget. This is a B budget movie right here. This is a B budget YouTube video. It's a B budget YouTube channel. So anyway, let's talk about the one-horned beast, the one-horned gorilla that they were talking about in Star Trek. All right, if anybody knows, that's called the Mugato. It was from the original series episode, Private Little War. Okay, the next thing that I wanted to talk about was when Ensign Bulmer, oh my, did you notice I remembered the name? Ensign Bulmer. And Ensign Bulmer is played by the talented Jack Quaid, which I didn't know. Okay, so Ensign Bulmer's in a turbo lift and he's singing and he's actually humming the theme song from Star Trek the Next Generation. So I thought that was pretty cool. He talks about a baryon sweep of the nacelles. Now I'm only familiar with one time the baryon sweep was shown in Star Trek, and that was in the episode The Starship Mine or Starship Mine, and they did a baryon sweep of the entire ship because, as I understood from the episode, baryon particles accumulated over the entirety of the ship, not just in the first primary, secondary hole in the nacelles. So one of the other things that they talked about was Ensign Bulmer sung his little purge song, and it reminded me of the Life Form song that Data sung in the movie Star Trek Generations. Life forms, my tiny little life forms. Okay, I don't want to copyright right here. Excuse the way I'm angling, but my tripod is called my arm. I guess you could call that a unipod. I guess you could call it a bipod since it's attached to two. Anyway, so they talked about the wooden. So they were supposed to bring a gift to a Federation planet that was just signed to become part of the Federation citizenry. And when they opened it up, instead of it being a crystal, it was a wooden log. And they start making jokes, little quips about the wooden log, and it reminded me of the the Horgon from A Captain's Holiday in the original series. By the way, if anybody could hook a brother up on a Horgon, that would be awesome. I would just sit on my front porch in my robe with the Horgon sitting right on the table next to me with a smile on my face. One of them creepy smiles. But anyway, moving on. So they talked about padding time, okay? And if anybody's an engineer, a technician, or a mechanic, or types of similar field, which is the field I'm in, and coincidentally, we know about padding time. Scotty discusses it to Geordi in the episode, in the next generation episode, Relics, I believe. The Next Generation episode, Relics, I believe. Excuse me going fast because they don't like long videos, and I don't know how to make them longer. Anyway, so in Relics, where he explains to Geordi that not all engineers give the exact time. They give themselves a wiggle room, a little bit of buffer room, so that just in case, so they don't have to rush. There won't be any. They can minimize mistakes. They can maximize safety. But a good mechanic or engineer knows how long it will take, and about how long, based on experience, how much that buffer should be. It's not just something arbitrary. We'd be like, it's only going to take us 15 minutes, but we're going to tell you an hour and a half. Any good mechanic, engineer, or technician would never do that. If you guys are dealing with somebody who does do that, get a different one. So the only engineer that I found that doesn't fall into that particular category in Starfleet, though, would be B'Elanna Torres from Voyager. She always tells the exact truth about what she's going to do. So they talked about how spears don't kill people in Starfleet. I would beg to differ. in the original series Galileo 7, well, that was a big tree that had a big metal tip that was sharp attached to it. I wouldn't call it a spear. That was a tree that somebody threw at somebody that happened to be spears in their native tongue, but to us it was a tree with a spear tip, a gigantic spear tip. But spear people, we've been speared before in Starfleet. So uh, they reference multitasking on the Enterprise all the time, which is something that they do, but they do it well, and I think that's why they had brought it up. Now we go into basically the episode, and what I liked about the episode, is it covered a few things that I thought would be great to talk about, which is what the channel is for, which is what Star Trek is for, and which is why I thought this episode was just a great addition to the Star Trek canon. And they cover things like leadership, responsibility, how to treat your fellow soldier, teamwork, how to treat a fellow person. Okay, and I'll briefly go into these things. Now I always get upset when I watch the new types of Star Trek, and I realize that there's nothing to talk about. There's no growth. There was no learning at the end of it. And with this, it was a great examination of um, your proper place in a team. If you're a leader, know how to delegate. Okay, know what's different styles of leadership to use. Trust your team. Okay, um, trust your leadership, and they will have your back. The emphasis was we. When Mariner said that it's your team and you acting like you, and he was like, no, it's our team. This is us. And it's totally in all through Star Trek canon. There's been instances where one of the team members will think they're doing something right and will incapacitate um, their fellow officer, to face that danger themselves. I know that Core wasn't a Starfleet officer, but it was in Star Trek. He knocked out Worf, to in Deep Space Nine to face the Jim Hadar fleet. It's been a lot of situations where that happened. Spock has not, given Kirk the Vulcan neck pinch so he could face the danger and everything of getting tortured. All kinds of situations like that throughout Trek. And I love that instead of using the sword, he used his hand because, again, these are Federation citizens now. And this is just a misunderstanding. Okay, he had the speech. It was very Star Trek. At the end, it was growth. That civilization, it was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this and this and this, and I ain't gonna give it away, but he was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be doing this. It's probably not the best, thing to be doing. So it showed growth. How the ship pulled together, how everybody on the ship pulled together to accomplish the mission to get rid of the threat. By the way, I loved the graffiti on the exterior of the ship. They should have kept it. But I'm gonna have to say, overall, this was a great, great, great episode. I highly recommend it. Ooh, getting a little warm. I highly recommend it. Some things I didn't know. Captain Freeman is voiced by the great Don Lewis from A Different World. I was like, what? It's a different world? What? And Commander Ransom, the groovy dude that was the first officer. He's voiced by Jerry O'Connell. Yeah, by Jerry O'Connell, my man from Sliders. Okay, so I highly recommend it. And for Star Trek, for a Star Trek Lower Decks episode, the first two was crappy, but this one it was very, very, very good. And I hope you guys get a chance to watch it. And I hope you guys like the video. It was informative. Sorry about the speed. And if you haven't subscribed, please click to subscribe, and I'll get videos out as fast as I can. Thanks, guys. Take care. Be cool.